Welcome to Jedi Enclave. I am Daniel.
I'm Chris.
We're here to talk about Star Wars news. This is a safe place
Yes.
to talk about Star Wars news and video games, and it's really a safe space where you don't have to worry about Mike Zeroh opening your window a little bit at night, pushing himself through Grievous Grievous claw rushing over to your bed and touching your private parts. And I'm not saying that's what he does.
Some are saying allegedly that Mike
right.
Zeroh will creep into your room. If you look in a mirror at midnight with all the lights off and say Kathleen Kennedy is being fired tomorrow five times,
yeah.
Mike Zeroh will appear behind you.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yep. Yeah. Man, we really hate Mike Zeroh. I guess. I'm so sorry. It's not purposeful. It's just when you had enough, you had enough.
It's purposeful. Don't lie.
Yeah, it's pretty purposeful. As I said, anyway, this is Jedi Enclave, and we like to talk about Star Wars news and Star Wars theories and Star Wars lore, and sometimes we'll take a little gallivant, a little meandering into other things that aren't Star Wars, like Marvel. Or Batman sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, reminds me, last week we didn't talk about any of the Batman stuff that came out. Oh yeah. Because there were like 10 different trailers for stuff.
Yeah, DC had their whole thing where they showed off like every single trailer they have.
DC Fandom.
Oh yes,
as it is called. Before we get any further, thanks very much to our friend Connor over at the Star Wars Hub and Star Wars Veritas. That's on Facebook, so go find them, like the groups. They're really cool.
Is Connor fully recovered from his surgery?
I think so.
Good.
He's good. I haven't talked to him in like 3 days, so.
Hope he's doing
well.
Yeah,
I think he's doing all right. So yeah, go check them out on Facebook because they're really cool. And the thing I love about both of those groups, run by the same person, is that they're very anti-clickbait, very anti-Doomcock, and very anti-Mike Zeroh. And this is not an anti-Mike Zeroh show.
Yes, it is. It is part of our channel, which means by definition,
it's like our brand.
It is anti-Mike Zeroh.
I didn't write this show and okay, we're just going to rail on Mike Zeroh the entire fucking time. Anyway, right after this, at 7:00 p.m. Central, we are going to play Battlefront, but it's not the Battlefront you'll be expecting. And you'll probably be mad about it, and I'm very sorry. It's Battlefront 2 from 2005.
I don't think you've ever been sorry about making someone mad in your entire life.
That's probably true. And look where it got me.
Yeah.
Also, make sure you like the page, subscribe, and share, and everything.
Do all those algorithm-y things that you do to things that you like on the internet.
Yeah. And we're doing it. This is our Halloween edition. We actually have some pretty cool stuff planned. The 10 spookiest, scariest, most terrifying things in all of Star Wars. Yes. And then we're going to do a pretty scary story from Star Wars comics.
Oh, good.
So we'll get into that as well. You know what I was going to do, actually?
What's that?
Because we try to do like a Star Wars story time whenever we're not like recapping.
Yeah.
It's like something new. I was starting to write this, and I was like, you know what? Isn't there a zombie story in Star Wars somewhere?
I think there was.
Yeah, so I went over to my bookshelf over here to the Jedi library, which is tons.
The Jedi archives.
Yeah, tons of Star Wars books, and pulled out Star Wars Red Harvest. It's like, oh, this is perfect for a Halloween story.
Absolutely.
This is great.
It's spooky. It's scary.
Yeah, and I started reading it, and we're not going to go into the whole thing, otherwise it would just be its own Star Wars story time. But the premise is that the Sith, who's at a Sith Academy, on a world like Hoth, kind of, in his endeavors to be immortal, because that's what they all do.
What every Sith wants.
Accidentally makes zombies.
Oh, good.
And as a part of this, he has to kidnap a Jedi apprentice to keep this flower alive that he needs to make more zombies or whatever. And so he sends someone to kidnap this Jedi apprentice, and it works.
Okay.
But it turns out her brother is also a Jedi.
Okay.
And she's talking to him, and I want you to don't say anything, but just raise your hand when this starts to sound really familiar. Okay. She's like on the phone with him when she gets kidnapped, and he hears it happening, and the kidnapper holds up the communicator, and he can kind of hear the person breathing, and then he says the following: "Listen to me. I don't know who you are, but I am in possession of a very special set of skills. If you bring my sister back right now unharmed, then I'll let you go. But if you don't, I promise you I will track you down. I will find you, and I will make you pay.
This is just...
I'm not making this up.
That's literally just Liam Neeson's speech from
It's
Taken.
literally it's word for word in the book. I just read it off the Wikipedia thing. And that's where I was like, nope. And I put it down because I just couldn't take it. Because aside from that being obviously derivative...
Yes.
It's a shit book.
It's not just outright plagiarized.
Yeah. They like the author is like, I based him off Liam Neeson. It's like, no.
No, you took that character out of
put
the
a Jedi
movie
robe on him, plunked him right in.
book.
Yeah. So if you ever have the chance to read Star Wars Red Harvest, don't do it. It's bad.
It's bad for your health.
Yeah. So I decided not to do that. So fuck Star Wars Red Harvest is more or less the moral of that story.
Okay.
Right. Let's talk about some Star Wars news.
Star Wars
shall
news.
we?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you may remember in Mandalorian season 2, there was a kind of
which I'm rewatching again right now. By the way,
there was a minor character played by WWE wrestler Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm.
She was Bo-Katan's homegirl.
Yeah.
They did kick-ass girls shooting things. Together. Yeah. Well, very sad news. Sasha Banks was interviewed recently and confirmed that she's not going to be in Mandalorian season 3.
Aww.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So
I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
She didn't tweet anything, did she?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay, good.
That would have been awkward.
Yep.
So this immediately starts my speculation thing.
Yeah.
Sense a quiverin' because one of the theories you and I discussed was that season 3 would deal with Mandalore and Bo-Katan wanting to go home and become the ruler of Mandalore, except Din Djarin has the Darksaber, and that kind of makes him the ruler of Mandalore.
Yeah.
So there's that conflict there.
Yeah.
Without Sasha Banks' character, I don't knowing that character isn't in the next season kind of makes that storyline less likely to me, because if you have this character set up to be Bo-Katan's right-hand woman, why wouldn't you just keep her there? Well,
I'm not sure if that's what it means, because if you remember, and I know this because I've just been rewatching season 2. In the episode where he meets all of the Mandalorians, it was actually Bo-Katan, Sasha Banks, and some other dude.
Yeah.
Whose name was super white guy. It's like Axel or something. It's like some. Yeah. It wasn't that, but it was some kind of thing. And then he disappears by the time they go and attack Moff Gideon's ship, and he's just not around anymore.
Because they wanted to have that girls get it done sequence,
right? Which was
very good,
better than any of the other girls get it done things they've tried in Marvel or Star Wars up until that point, right? Because I mean, the girls get it done splash in Endgame. It's really cringy.
A little bit.
Captain Marvel shows up, which, by the way, Captain Marvel I fucking love Captain Marvel, but and they're she's got help, and for whatever reason, all of the ladies have congregated around this one area, and it's this wouldn't happen in a battle. All these characters are great. I love all of them, but come on,
it's just a little too coincidental.
Yeah. So yeah, they probably just didn't pay her enough.
Could be. There was one other thing in that interview that made me chuckle. Sasha Banks mentioned how she was taking everything she learned from doing Star Wars and applying it back to her WWE career. Just in case you need any more evidence that wrestling is
it's all fake. Yep.
Yeah.
I had a buddy in high school or middle school. It wasn't a buddy, actually. I fucking hated him, but he would get into these you should talk to this about Joe the next time you hang out with him, because he was there a lot.
Yeah.
He would get into these heated fucking lunch fights, while we were eating lunch about wrestling being real. And yeah.
I mean, the athleticism is real to an extent. The
showmanship and
hitting someone with a steel chair is mostly pretty real.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Donald Trump was able to survive a fucking wrestling thing, it's not real.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's up, Joseph? My ex stepkid thought wrestling was real. Well, I'm glad he's your ex stepkid.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude about your family situation.
Either that or teach your children well so that they don't think wrestling is real.
Just don't put wrestling on TV, because whether or not you're debating about if it's real is one thing. The other thing is it's kind of fucking boring to watch. So why?
Yeah.
One more wrestling thing.
Okay.
The guy that owns WWE.
Yes.
can't remember.
Vince McMahon, I think.
Yes. Yeah, that's him. There's a really good John Oliver episode about wrestling, and it shows this batshit insane interview that guy has with this other guy who's like trying to call him out on the fact that they don't give medical insurance to their employees, and he is so clearly on steroids and probably meth, and like gets really upset and like slaps the guy's paper and mocks him and shit. This has nothing to do with Star Wars. I get it, but go watch it. You will not regret watching it. It's hilarious. Let's get to the real news.
Okay.
The real news this week. This was actually this was a big deal.
So the Hollywood Reporter mentioned that they have several sources who confirm that Hayden Christensen is reappearing as Darth Vader in the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, this goes further than just reliable sources, because Rosario Dawson on Instagram
or Twitter or something.
Posted Dear Sky Guy they know loves Snips.
Which is
Disney would have murdered her.
Yeah.
Like if it was a thing that wasn't meant to be, you know. And this really kind of confuses me a little bit.
Really?
So they announced Hayden Christensen as Vader in Obi-Wan, right? And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Makes sense.
He's probably gonna fight Vader again. It's gonna be real fucking cool.
But they guaranteed that he would fight Vader
again. Are they just gonna start putting Hayden Christensen in every Disney Plus series?
Well, they put him in the eventual re-releases of the original trilogy of Return of the Jedi.
But he's gonna be like in Star Wars Droids, and then like
I can't fucking
Ahsoka, or not Ahsoka. Andor.
Yeah, sure.
As Vader, probably.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I know that a lot of people, when we didn't know what was going to happen in Rise of Skywalker, there were a bunch of rumors going around about Hayden Christensen having this big like cameo or like thing, and
because he took his daughter to the Star Wars park at Disney or whatever.
Yeah. And so everyone got real fucking horny about it because that's what they wanted.
And then surprise, the only Force ghost was fucking Han Solo.
Yeah. Hayden Christensen did have one line as a Force ghost.
Yep.
But it wasn't a big thing. So I think now that everyone was kind of hot and bothered about Hayden Christensen, they're like, you know what?
Disney's like, people actually care about Hayden Christensen.
Put him in everything.
Put him in everything.
Put him in Andor. Put him in fucking Spider-Man. No way.
Put him in Book of Boba Fett. Who cares?
I think he's going to have to be a Force ghost in Ahsoka, right?
Either that or they have some sort of flashback, but I think Force Ghost is more likely.
Yeah, I responded to someone on Facebook the other day about a flashback. I don't think it's a good idea. The relationship between Ahsoka and Anakin is well developed. It's well fleshed out. I can't imagine any scene through a flashback that would really mean anything, because we get it. They were really close, and they are both very damaged by Ahsoka leaving the Jedi, right? And there's an entire other debate about whether or not she could have saved him from returning to the dark side.
Yeah.
Or turning to the dark side. I don't think she could have, but it's another debate, right?
The only thing I can think of that would make a flashback worthwhile is if Disney thinks that there's enough people coming to Ahsoka from Mandalorian who haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels, so they don't have the full context of Ahsoka and Anakin, so they need something to develop who she is, where she came from.
What if they do a little bit of both? Like he's a Force ghost, but also they have a couple like live action Clone Wars scenes.
Could be.
Yeah, I can't imagine what. I don't know. For me, it has to be Force ghost.
Yeah,
because I mean, it would be a really good way for her, because she never finished her Jedi training. She was pretty close anyway, but it'd be a really good way for him to kind of reappear and first apologize.
Yeah,
like, sorry for trying to kill you.
Second, it's Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah. And also here's how you maintain your consciousness after death, which Ahsoka is one of the voices that talks to Rey.
She sure is.
So she's dead by the time episode 9 happens. So I don't know, who knows? He's going to, you know what though? I don't fucking care. Cause, and this is what's hilarious to me about Hayden Christensen.
Okay.
And you keep your fucking hate letters at home. He was not good in Star Wars.
No.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy him in Star Wars. I'm not saying that he isn't my mind's like image of Anakin Skywalker, because he absolutely is. He was not a good actor in Star Wars, and he's not a good fucking actor in what is that other movie where he can jump anywhere he can see?
Jumper?
Yeah. Wow. They left no stone unturned for that title. All the movies I've seen him in are not good. I don't like him as an actor, but I'm real fucking jazzed about Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
And so maybe in canon, Anakin's just a real fucking wooden, awkward person who,
who somehow got to bone a queen/senator.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's hot. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
look,
fair.
it's not about how he looks, because even as, I don't know, he's like 50 now or something, or whatever, he still looks real good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that his face was the problem. I'm just saying that his mouth was the problem. And also, granted for Hayden Christensen, the dialogue for the prequel sucked so bad.
The deck
and that
was stacked against him.
That was not his fault. However,
but look at fucking Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Like doing the absolute best he can
Yeah.
with only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Right, or don't try it, I have the high ground.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden your elevation really matters. Because we haven't seen, he did the opposite thing when he killed Darth Maul. So like,
Yeah.
it's just that Hayden Christensen wasn't the caliber of actor to just say shit that he thought sounded better, like Harrison Ford or the late Queen, Carrie Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
He just, there's one particular cringe moment, episode 2, where he's like watching, or is it episode 3, where he's watching Padme like brush her hair, and he's got this like creepy fucking grin on his face, and just like, oh god, get that the fuck out of here. Anyway, so yeah, Hayden Christensen's coming to Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
In my Mandalorian rewatch, I'm right now kind of like a third through the Ahsoka episode, which is great. But I'm also, at some point, I think someone over at Disney knows, what would make everyone really crazy is if we set up some kind of scene where Ahsoka and Luke meet and she realizes that he looks a lot like his father or whatever, and having this conversation about how, Anakin couldn't be saved, but Luke didn't need to be saved, and
That would be possible because Ahsoka's scouring the galaxy looking for Ezra, and Luke is looking for Jedi stuff.
Yeah, Luke's trying to find literally anything he can to, because no one trained him really. Yoda's like, here's a 3-day lesson, and Obi-Wan's like, oh no, I died. So,
and then Yoda's like, oh, you want to learn more? Too bad I'm dying.
Yeah, and I'm dead. So yeah,
they get together and compare notes. Like, oh, you learned half the Jedi stuff. I learned half the Jedi stuff. Let's see if we can put the parts together.
Yeah, and she's like, this is how you swing a lightsaber.
He's like, oh yes, that's very interesting.
I've just been swinging it like a baseball bat. Yeah. All right then. Let me check the chat real quick. Wrestling is real. It's just scripted. I think that's more or less what we said.
Yeah.
It's I actually liked Jumper.
Okay. I mean, it's okay to like things.
Samuel Jackson's in Jumper.
Oh, yeah.
And he's good because he's just playing Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. I that movie came out when I was like 11 or 12, and I remember seeing the trailers on TV and thinking like, oh, yeah, that looks kind of cool. I never actually saw it. But
it's not great.
I mean, to my 11-year-old eyes, it looked kind of fun.
Oh, yeah. That's probably who it was written for.
Yeah, probably.
Never saw Jumper. Lulz. This is the first I've heard of it. Okay, guys. Everyone go watch Jumper and then tell me how bad Hayden Christensen is.
It's only, what, a 2-hour movie or whatever? We'll be right here when you come back.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's get onto our Halloween special item. 10 scariest, most terrifying, fucking
spooky.
Yeah, things get scared.
Of Star Wars.
Star Wars scary moments.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to call this on the video.
Who cares?
Because it's probably go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And also, I want everyone to know I didn't have any input in this list. So.
Oh fuck! I made it myself.
Yeah.
You didn't make. Oh okay.
Yeah.
You didn't tell. You need to tell me these things.
I didn't say like we were both gonna do 10. I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Chris can do his own thing. So
okay, fine.
I'm gonna try not to argue with you. I accept everything you say.
Please do argue with me.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah. It's make sure you can say in the comments what your like scariest, creepiest, most terrifying. Moments, and I'm gonna have to think of a name for this really, because it might just be scariest, most terrifying. I don't know, but
spookiest.
Yeah, if you have a different order in your head, you're obviously wrong. But put it in the comments.
Yeah, sure.
Also, like this video and tell all your friends about it.
Tell all your enemies too.
Yeah, or don't do any of that shit. I don't care. Yeah. I really do care. I need validation, please. Like, okay.
So
are we doing 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
10 to 1.
10 to 1 for.
But first, I have an honorable mention because I thought of it after I made the list.
Okay.
A New Hope, the trash compactor scene.
Okay.
Because like when the eyeball comes out and Luke gets pulled underwater, it's kind of shocking. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like you don't expect to see a big squid monster with an eyeball tentacle in trash compactor land.
I can't see that scene anymore without thinking of Blue Harvest Family Guy and the monster just being Meg. Because in all the Family Guy Star Wars, so in that one she's the Dianoga, the trash compactor monster. In Empire Strikes Back, she is the fucking space worm. Mm-hmm. And then in Return of the Jedi, she's the Sarlacc.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Meg gets so much fucking abuse.
It makes total sense from the perspective of the actual in-universe Family Guy characters. But
everyone really hates it.
Okay,
yeah.
Number 10, I have the Dark Ray jump scare from Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, yeah. So give us a little bit of what's happening.
So this is when Rey is on the crashed Death Star 2 in the Emperor's throne room. She goes searching through his closet or whatever.
Find some underwear.
Yeah, and it's
God.
It's actually this dark side infused evil closet.
Yeah.
And she comes face to face with herself, except herself now has a spooky tuning fork lightsaber and
tuning fork lightsaber.
Because she flips it out and it becomes your Darth Maul.
It's like
style.
a hinge lightsaber.
Yeah,
it's the same lightsaber that Pon Krell has in Clone Wars, except he doesn't have just one of them. He has one for each fucking, because he has 4 arms or something. He's the same species as Dex, the diner owner.
Dexter.
Yeah. Whatever, I can't remember. Dexter.
We have someone in the chat who actually has a fan page of exactly that. I'm sure he'll correct us. But you get this real jump scare moment of Rey snarling with the evil yellow Sith eyes and fangs and stuff.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is. George Lucas has had this thing pretty much where if there's a Sith that doesn't have a helmet on, they've got to have pretty serious dental issues. And they also have to look like they haven't eaten in 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's meant to convey that the dark side is death. It withers away at you.
It turns into a shark.
Yeah, basically.
Or whatever. Yeah.
So that's number 10. Number 9 is Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of Empire Strikes Back. There's going to be a lot of Darth Vader on here. This is the part where Darth Vader comes out of nowhere during the duel with Luke.
Yes.
In the lower level. And so Luke's got knocked down from where they first started. And he's crawling around the pipes and stuff.
He's barely alive.
Yeah.
He goes into the sword fight motherfucker, I'm going to kill Vader.
And then, oh shit, Vader is actually way
within
better
2
than
seconds, he fucking disarms him. And he's like, now what, motherfucker? And he's like, okay.
So Luke's crawling around the tubes. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hear the breathing, you hear the lightsaber swinging. Mm-hmm. It is terrifying.
It still scares me today, but then I start laughing because I start thinking about, was he holding his breath the whole time? Because you would hear Vader breathing from 20 miles away.
Yeah.
So I just see him in the corner holding his breath, is he ever gonna get here? I'm going to die.
Okay.
Luke turns the corner and Vader's just passed out on the floor.
Yeah. Can you press that one button?
Yeah, press the
chest?
button. Yeah, press the oxygen
that
button.
applies CPR. Yeah. Okay. So number 8, and this is a more recent one.
Okay.
This is basically the entirety of the last episode of Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the second to last episode, the Imperial fleet fires on Camino City. I forget what it's called.
Yep.
And the city collapses, and the titular Bad Batch are stuck inside.
Mm-hmm.
The entire last episode is them trying to escape.
Yeah.
The whole time they're in this metal disc city thing that's down on the ocean floor with miles of water above them.
It's very claustrophobic.
The city was not designed as a submarine, so it's slowly...
Well, no, it's designed to be out of the water, not in the water.
So it's slowly being crushed by the water pressure. And even if you aren't going to get crushed by that, eventually you're going to run out of air if you don't run out of food and water first.
Right.
And it's less immediately scary, except for that one sequence where they're walking through the elevator tube and the giant
the glasses splintering.
Yeah. It's less immediately scary and more just existential dread. Mm-hmm. We can't stay here. We are going to die if we don't do something.
Yeah.
And that just kind of drives the whole thing forward. Number 7. This one comes from Mandalorian.
Oh, nice.
Last episode of season 2.
I've heard of that show.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. This is when all the Dark Troopers activate in the hangar on Moff Gideon's ship.
Yeah.
And start doing their Legion walkout. And so Din Djarin tries to seal the doors and get rid of them, but one of them breaks it open and Terminator walks out.
Yeah.
And just beating the crap out of him.
I know. God, this.
It's brutal. I rewatched this sequence while I was making this list.
Yeah.
Like, it lifts him up, slams him against the wall.
And this is
punching him
I
in
know,
the
it's crazy. And you know what? I wish I could pay money to have my memory erased every day so I could go back just of that episode, so I can go back and watch it for the first time again.
It's so
good.
Because
it's a really good episode. And there's one particular part in that fight where he fucking blasts him with the flamethrower.
It does nothing.
And he just like kind of looks down and is like, "The fuck did you just do?" And he's got like flames like coming up and everything. Yeah, that is
like he tries using the whistling birds and it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
like, it's terrifying because all these things that we've seen Din Djarin do that work on every other enemy he's faced on, the Dark Trooper just no sells.
And he's like 1/20th of the force on the ship. And then something else has to be said for what's his name? The composer.
Yeah, I know who.
Gordonson?
Yes.
Gordonson? Yeah. His music for that particular scene, the theme that he wrote for the Dark Troopers, it's like this weird techno dubstep kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That works so well, and it is really, really scary. And what's really interesting, actually, is that they do the weird techno dubstep, it sounds scary and clinky and machine and then almost all of the music they use for Luke when he appears is all like just a guitar and voice. Like it's very like everything else.
Yeah. It's a good way of showing the synthetic nature of the Dark Troopers compared to the essential humanness of Luke and the Force.
Except for his hand.
Well, yeah. Not much you can do about that, I guess. Number six. This is something you showed me when I told you I can't come up with 10 of these. This is...
I said, get back to work. Stop bothering me.
From the 2D Clone Wars cartoon, General Grievous ambushing the Jedi.
Yeah, that is pretty gross.
Just to set the scene, the Jedi are like hiding out in the wreckage of this ship. They're completely surrounded by super battle droids. I mean, as far all the way to the horizon.
And this was far enough back where the battle droids were actually scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like all the super battle droids are shooting, blasting away. The Jedi are just hiding in this wreckage. Then all of a sudden they all stop shooting. General Grievous says, "Oh yes, you're all a bunch of shitty Jedi and I'm going to come kill you now."
I like how you started to do a Grievous impression and you just abandoned it within 2 words.
I couldn't remember what he actually said. So
well, he sounds different in the show too than he does everywhere else.
Because he doesn't have his organ sac crushed yet.
Right, yeah.
And then like there's like a solid 2 minutes of the Jedi just sitting there sweating. Like there's nothing happening. I don't hear anything. Like, is he actually going to come get us? Like, should we try to leave? No, there's a bunch of battle droids out there. And finally, one of the panels is like, I can't take it anymore! And he runs out. And Grievous just immediately stomps on him and kills him.
Yeah, it is that. I remember seeing that because, God, that came out in like when I was in high school.
Early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember seeing that being like, oh, damn. And what's really too bad is they don't make Grievous that scary in episode 3.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a doofus. Like, he's not like Ochi Bastoon doofus, but he's kind of a doofus.
Yeah. Like, what makes that sequence work is just the tension where you're just sitting there and you're like, you're right there with the Jedi. Because even like Ki-Adi-Mundi is there and he's freaking out a little bit.
I love his look for this, by the way. It's like his shirt's like ripped except for like this one like thing and he's kind of ripped.
And like it zooms in on his face, you see just sweat all over it.
Yeah, now you know why all the fucking ladies like him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ki-Adi-Mundi, I'll probably have to edit this after the video, but the Ki-Adi-Mundi fan club is in our chat.
Oh, good.
We'll read it after the segment.
Very good. Glad you're here, Ki-Adi-Mundi fan club. Number 5, also from The Mandalorian, the Ice Spiders chase.
I just watched that today.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Maybe you should talk about it then because it's more fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I literally did watch it. It's like right after I walked my dog earlier today, but Mandalorian gets chased by a couple of X-Wings onto an ice planet that isn't Hoth.
He has to like set down and repair his ship,
right.
and he's also got the frog lady with him, whose eggs Baby Yoda keeps eating.
Yeah, right. Then,
which is existentially horrifying in its own.
Yeah,
right,
that should have been on the list maybe. The frog lady wants to have a bath or whatever, so she gets out and gets into like a hot spring. Yeah, and then there are spiders, and spiders are weird, and I hate them. And these ones are ice spiders. Yep. What's the difference? I don't know. They're still slinging web and shit. It's really weird. And then like he has this battle with the one that he thinks is like the big one, and he like blows it up or whatever. And then they get in the ship, they go to take off, and the actual big one, which is like 4 times its size, just like plops down right on their ship and shit. And right at the last moment, they're like rescued by the X-wing pilots,
including Dave Filoni.
Yeah, who are chasing them, and they're like, we don't want to chase you anymore. You've had a bad day with these fucking spiders.
Yeah.
See ya.
Good luck getting to your next.
Yeah. Well, because he's like, can you help? And they're like,
no,
fuck no. Like
no.
you should be arrested right now. This is all you fucking get.
That works because it like combines the very deep natural fear of being eaten with the kind of instinctual revulsion a lot of people feel towards spiders.
Well, we have an evolutionary fear towards spiders because early man needed to know which spiders were poisonous and which ones weren't, and so generally we're just kind of creeped out by spiders.
Number 4. This is from Empire Strikes Back. It is the Dagobah cave sequence.
All right.
Luke goes in. Yoda's like, you don't need your weapons in there. Luke's like, well, fuck you. I'm taking my weapons anyway.
Yeah.
He goes in there. He confronts the dark side acid trip version of Darth Vader. They have a very short lightsaber duel, and like Luke cuts Vader's head off. The mask explodes, and there's Luke's face in there.
Yeah. What does it mean? We don't know.
This is maybe not scary, but horrifying because of how easy it would be for Luke to become everything he's trying to fight against. Right.
Yeah, and they also shot it in a way that's really weird too. They use a different frame rate for when Vader comes in. It's kind of jumpy a little bit. And it
feels very dreamy.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know if it was just the fog they had there or something they did to the lens.
Yeah.
But between that and the lowered frame rate, it feels like a dream sequence.
It is really weird. Yeah.
Which adds to the weird unearthliness.
Yeah.
Of it.
Right. They in the official canon they went back to that spot too with Ben Solo after he hooked up with Snoke and they were a thing.
I think there was some part of Clone Wars where I think Yoda went down there trying to...
You mean during the 3-part Yoda thing? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but maybe, yeah.
It's a very, very popular cave. Number 3, also Empire Strikes Back. This is just the entire Wampa sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Where Luke's like, calm down, Tauntaun, buddy.
They get you really liking that Tauntaun. They spend a couple minutes being like, oh, that Tauntaun's going to be okay.
It's very cute. And then Wampa out of nowhere, bonk.
Yep, fuck Tauntauns.
Knocks Luke out. They're dragging him through the snow. Luke wakes up like upside down, hanging from the roof. He sees the Wampa just kind of snarfing down on what's left of the Tauntaun.
Something else was dead, yeah.
And again, this is the primal fear of being eaten because that Wampa says, oh, you're awake. Yeah. I'm going to eat you
and I'm going to eat you now too. Yeah, and our evolutionary fear of Yetis, I guess.
Yeah, just a very... It's not subtle, but it's still viscerally scary.
Did I ever tell you about I would take my Luke Skywalker action figure when I was a kid and wet his feet and then stick him in the freezer on the top and to where it would stick and then close the door and like a couple hours later like open it and have fucking Luke from Empire Strikes Back hanging upside down.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, my dad would open and get pissed, but
imagine he would. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Number 2. This is from Jedi Fallen Order, the very end sequence where you're running away from Darth Vader.
Oh, that is real fucking scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
So picture this. You're this like complete scrub Jedi. You haven't been a Padawan for like 10 years because, Order 66.
You're also a redhead.
Yeah.
And you suck at everything.
You spent like the past 10 years hiding out on this like scrap planet and forgetting all your Jedi training. And then you kind of have to remember how to be a Jedi really quickly.
You also have crippling PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except you only learned like half of what you need to.
Yeah.
But somehow you managed to go through all these zany adventures and you managed to like defeat this Inquisitor in battle.
2 of them.
Because
you get the big bitch in the earlier the earlier boss fight, and then
and then there's the other one. Right as you're about to try to redeem the last Inquisitor, Darth Vader shows up out of nowhere, fucking kills her, and starts chasing you out of the facility.
You'll redeem no one.
And like, what makes this so scary?
Her reaction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, at first, it's just Darth fucking Vader, right?
You just hear the breathing first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interaction, like it being a video game and you actually controlling the weaker side of this equation is what makes it scary.
Yes. And you know what I really like about this is they didn't do the thing that they did in Force Unleashed where you actually fight Vader.
Mm-hmm.
They make it very clear immediately that you have no chance.
Yeah.
You cannot fight him, and he can kill you, actually, if you're not quick enough.
Like I said, you're a complete scrub, didn't even complete your training. He is Darth fucking Vader.
Yeah.
If you fight him, you will die.
Right. And that is pretty terrifying. His entrance into that was kept a secret. I don't think anyone assumed Vader was in it because everyone was like, "Oh, they need to keep Vader. He can't be appearing in every single thing."
Sure.
And that fucking like fog rolls in, and you hear his breathing, and then Trilla, the Inquisitor, just like stiffens up in wide eyes, and she's like, "Oh fuck!" And the other thing is when he jumps down, he lands. It's not like a regular person. It was like a fucking tractor trailer had fallen and landed because it just sounds so heavy and like it is creepy.
Because he's more machine than man
Yeah,
now.
yeah. He's more machine now than man.
Yes. And of course, number one, indisputably, is Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader kills everybody.
Yeah. Kill scene.
Yes. So this is almost cheating because number 2 and number 1 are the same thing. Mm. But Darth Vader...
He has some of the scariest moments of Star Wars, yeah.
He's the monster of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he has this sequence where he's just a slasher movie villain, just cutting through every single one of the rebel soldiers. Mm-hmm. Like, the last one in the hallway is, like, screaming, banging on the door, let me out! Yeah. Like, they managed to get the Death Star plans out. Yeah. But, like, Vader is just slaughtering everything. And it is the most pure distillation of why Darth Vader is scary.
Yeah. For me, this particular sequence is... So there is some emotional manipulation that's happening before this happens that kind of makes it even more terrifying and tragic. Mm-hmm. Because the rebels have this big fight against the Empire, and at first they're doing pretty well. Yeah. And then the Death Star shows up and shit, and the main characters start to die off one after the other. You know that like Jen Erso's able to like beam the plans up, and like the rebels are jumping into hyperspace. Like they're going to get away.
They got what they came for.
And they crash into a fucking Star Destroyer right when it gets there. And so like they give you this taste of victory. Like, you know, oh, well, some people will live and, you know, it'll be okay.
Then nope.
Yeah, they just keep pulling little layers away and like, nope, he's dead. Nope, he's dead. Nope, they're all dead. And
which is part of the brilliance of Rogue One and why it's as good a movie as it is.
Yeah, it's okay to kill all your main characters.
Yeah.
Like it's tragic. That's why no one ever does it, is because it's, you know, it's really tragic, but it makes you feel something, and it makes for a good movie. And Rogue One did a great fucking job with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, tell us exactly why I'm
comments.
wrong.
Yeah.
In the comments, tell us all of what you think are the scariest moments in Star Wars.
Yeah, be pissed at him for not putting Darkside Yoda in there from Clone Wars.
Oh yeah,
that's creepy. Or
isn't there a sequence where like Ahsoka sees a vision of herself as Darkseid too?
I can't remember. I know that there's a guy in the chat right now that will know
for sure.
definitively one way or the other. There are a couple of other ones that I just kind of like. There's a zombie scene in Clone Wars.
Oh yeah,
on Geonosis.
Yeah, you showed me that one.
Yeah.
I just don't really like zombies that much.
Yeah, actually, there are kind of a lot of moments in fucking Clone Wars where it's not necessarily scary, but Disney's like it's a show for kids, and then you watch it and you're like, I'm not letting my kid watch this. This is terrifying. Yeah. So yeah, let us know in the comments, and we will promptly ignore it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We read all of them because they're only like 10 every year or whatever. All right, so we got to get on to Star Wars story time.
Yeah, the most exciting time of the week.
Yeah, this is our Halloween edition Star Wars story time, and we're going with the.
You need a minor version of the theme with like a cackling witch laugh and like the thunder strike in the background.
Yeah, I just realized that I have the wrong Star Wars story time.
Oh no!
No.
This is how you know it's live.
Yeah, let me see if I can get to my.
I wonder if that would get us copyright stricken. Probably not, right?
Well, you sing it very poorly.
So yeah, that's true.
Probably not. I'm kidding. I think this is it.
Is it? Is that the one?
Nope. Not it.
Oh no.
Not it.
Let's see. We have to fill more dead air.
Well, why don't you read some of the chat?
Okay. Let's see. Order 66 is kind of scary. Yes. I'd call it more tragic than scary, but certainly that's a very emotionally affecting sequence, especially if you watched Clone Wars and you had time to form emotional connections to all the characters who were dying. So seeing like Aayla Secura dying, that means a lot more to you if you've seen that character through the cartoons.
Yeah, and it's there have been a couple of takes on Order 66 outside of the main like the movie version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where let's see, like in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yep.
Where like you kind of experience it through Cal Kestis's, like, you know,
his memories.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to sign out of this so I can just go to my other.
Remember that badass 2D Clone Wars movie where Mace Windu fought over 1,000 super battle droids all alone and destroyed half just by punching them?
Yep.
I don't, but Daniel does.
I do. Did I not show you that?
You told me about this. I don't remember if you showed me it, but if you did, I don't remember it. But it actually it sounds exactly like something Mace Windu would do.
Yeah, it's I showed it to John because they have the 2D. I fixed it, by the way.
Okay.
They have all the 2D Clone Wars on Disney Plus now, and I showed it to John, and he's like, "Okay, I kind of get why you like Mace Windu so much." That was stupid. Okay, let's give this another go. Star Wars story time. Halloween edition. Please note, Halloween edition.
Pipe organ in the background.
Yeah.
Lightning flash.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I think I was a witch or it was a wounded cat. I don't know. However,
¿Por qué no los dos?
Huh?
Why not both?
Okay, good. Yes, I did. I really thought you said something different there, and I was like, you shouldn't say that stuff on. But then, never mind.
My Spanish is not good.
Yeah, I don't know Spanish, so. But yeah, this Star Wars story time. We go and read comics and we retell them, at least the part that we remember.
Yeah.
And you could do us a huge favor here by liking this video and sharing it, and be a part of the Jedi Enclave family. This warm, fuzzy collection of Star Wars nerds who have nothing to do but argue about whether or not they like The Last Jedi.
Like all Star Wars nerds.
Yeah. Before we get going, I want to thank our buddy over at Star Wars Comics Story, because all of these comics are up on YouTube. You can go and watch them. If you don't want two crazy men talking about it, like, you can just go read it with some music. So go check him out at Star Wars Comics Story. But also our editor, Luca, who does really good work. And actually, he just sent a video to me today.
Oh, good. And
we'll be putting that out tomorrow. So I'm going to give you a setting here.
Okay.
This is post Revenge of the Sith.
All right.
Okay, Palpatine rules the galaxy, and the artist formerly known as Anakin Skywalker is his new apprentice, aka Darth Vader. He leads his own gang called the Inquisitorius, and their job is to hunt down the Jedi that might have survived. And he trains them, and sometimes he gets bored and kills them, or whatever. But they're kind of his minions. They're like a little gang.
Yep.
And so our comic opens. This is, by the way, Star Wars Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, Volume 4, Fortress Vader, written by Charles Soule.
Okay.
And it opens with a baby girl, Zabrak, being born.
Okay.
And so the mother's in bed because she just pushed a fucking baby through her vagina.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And then the nurse droid is like holding it and hands it to the father, who is a suspiciously familiar-looking Zabrak male. And the droid's like, don't fucking drop this baby. And he's like, I won't, just so long as something terrifying doesn't happen in the next few minutes. And then Darth Vader appears in the doorway.
Shit! I was not expecting that.
Like, fumbles the death. Shit! Vader's like, fucking Eathcoth. I know you. You're a Jedi once. Put that fucking baby down. I'm going to kill you. And Eathcoth is like, if you don't know who Eathcoth is, he's a Zabrak Jedi he was in episode 2. I'm pretty sure he's not the Zabrak that goes to fight Palpatine because he fucking dies.
Yeah.
So Eathcoth is like, okay, look, I got kicked off the council. Fuck the Jedi. I don't care about the Jedi. Just let us go, and I'll tell you how to find the other survivors. And Vader's like, I'm listening. And Heathcliff is like, never mind, I'm going to throw this fucking nurse droid at you. And so he force throws him, and he like goes to run, and the mother grabs the baby, and she runs, and Heathcliff...
Showing a surprising amount of energy for someone who's just given birth.
I don't know, maybe they're... maybe... maybe
Are you gonna get in trouble for saying this?
Well, no, I'm trying to think of a judicious way of saying it, but maybe the Zabrak female reproduction area is a little bit more resilient than humans.
Did
you see that
because they have horns, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So you'd have to be a little tough.
And they do go out head first.
Yeah.
Wow, we went there. Okay. So the mother grabs the baby and runs. Heathcliff pulls out a hidden lightsaber that he's like got hidden somewhere. He turns it on. And Vader's just standing there with his lightsaber out already.
It's like, I've been wanting to do this all day.
Literally the worst you did there was throw a droid at me. Yeah. And I've had droids thrown at me before, sir. So calm the fuck down. And so they're getting ready to fight. And so they start fighting. And it's really kind of neat. The art for this is drawn really well. Because like Heathcliff has this really fluid kung fu kind of style thing that translates really well in the art. And Vader is just a fucking street fighting as he always does. Like he's just a brute. He's just swinging. He doesn't really care. And Vader's like, I kind of noticed you're not really filtering out your emotions anymore. You're not controlling yourself. It's like you got fear and shit, like all that stuff you're not supposed to have. And Heathcliff is like, I have a kid now, and you're trying to kill us. Like, what the fuck do you expect? And so Vader throws him with the Force and turns to his like Inquisitors, who are just apparently sitting there watching all this happen. Just like, go Vader!
Kind of stealthily jerking off.
Yeah, or they got the Vader flags or whatever. And Vader's like...
doing both at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, God. Vader's like, did you see that baby? And they're like, yeah. He's like, go get that baby. I want that baby. And one of the Inquisitors was like, well, what about the mom? What do we do with the mom? And he's like, I don't know. Kill her.
Yeah.
Do you think I care what happens to her? So the mention of them killing her gets Heathcliff back onto his feet. And so they start fighting again.
Bitch, you just didn't.
Yeah. So the Inquisitors start their search. And Inquisitor 1, they all have different names, like second sister, first fucking brother. I don't know. They're all stupid names, but I call them Inquisitor 1 and Inquisitor 2 in my notes because I cannot remember what their names are. So Inquisitor 1 was like, so how do we do this? They could literally be anywhere in the city. Like, there are lots of hiding places. And Inquisitor 2 is like, I don't know. She just had a fucking baby. Like, she just pushed that shit through a place that's not designed for that. So
it actually is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. She's probably not moving very fast.
Yeah.
So let's split up. And so they split up and they start searching, and Vader's still fighting Heathcliff. And the Inquisitor has an idea and uses the Force to like radio
wow, brilliant. You mean someone who can use the Force is going to use the Force to find someone?
Well, all the Inquisitors kind of use the Force. They're not very good at it.
Yeah.
So it and so the Inquisitor's like, my Force, there's the baby right over there. And so they go in that direction. Meanwhile, Heathcliff is now clearly losing to Vader, right? And the mother, whose name is Myra, is trying to escape to a shuttle, like a shuttle that's ready to go. It's like their emergency shuttle. And she's cut off by one of the Inquisitors. And Myra's like, look, woman to woman, let me go. And Inquisitor's like, no, well, when you put it like that, go ahead. And so she steps out of the way. And Mira's like, really?
Wait.
And yeah, and she's like, okay, and then runs into the ship. And then the ship takes off and starts flying away. And the other Inquisitor's like, Vader's gonna fucking kill you.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. He's gonna find about this and he's gonna kill you. And the other Inquisitor who let her go is like, now watch this. And she uses the Force to grab the baby and pulls her out of the open window of the shuttle.
Why did you open the window?
Yeah. And the Inquisitor's like, why? Why wouldn't you have just grabbed her when they were like, this doesn't make sense? And she's like, she appealed to me woman to woman. Now she won't ever trust another fucking woman again. And the Inquisitor's like, okay, that's really fucked up and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
But we got the baby, so we'll go with it.
Yeah, it's a win. Heathcliff and Vader are still fighting. And Heathcliff is like, I will save my family. And Vader's like,
fuck, you won't.
Vader's like, oh, look, a baby. And Heathcliff turns around, and one of the Inquisitors is just like floating the baby like a fucking basketball. And Vader stabs him.
Yeah.
While he's turned around is the more or less the made you look thing. So Heathcliff is dead.
Yes.
Sorry, Heathcliff. So they hand the baby to Vader, and he's like, "What the fuck am I gonna do with this?"
What am I gonna do with this?
And so he's like looking at her and shit. And he's like, "Aw, she's kind of cute. Like she's probably gonna make a really good Inquisitor later."
Mm-hmm.
So their shuttle
He flips open one of the buttons. It's actually like a nipple with formula
on his box.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. I don't want to think about that. Oh, for fuck's sake. So they leave, and then they get on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
And Vader comes down the shuttle ramp carrying the baby. He's like just carrying her with the Force.
Yeah.
And he's like, this
babies are gross. I wouldn't want to
yeah,
touch
he's
one
like,
either.
she really did shit her pants though. And I'm not touching this baby. And he's greeted by the Grand Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm.
And Vader hands him the baby and this weird, and then the Grand Inquisitor hands it off to this weird masked, a couple of weird masked people. They're like in robes and they have weird masks. And
Here, go make an Inquisitor out.
yeah, and really like in my notes is like, what the fuck, these guys are really weird. I have no idea what they are. So the Grand Inquisitor is like, okay, now that we've got all the baby business figured out, come here, I want to show you something. And so the Grand Inquisitor shows him a list of surviving Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And the list, as far as I could tell, since I can translate Arabesh to English, Yoda, Quinlan Voss,
Mm-hmm.
Karak Infila, which I have no idea who the fuck that is, Jocasta Nu.
Mm-hmm.
This is before Jocasta's thing happened.
She of the lightsaber rifle.
And Ahsoka Tano.
Oh.
The ones that they know are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
They're chasing. And the Grand Inquisitor's like, so we've got this list. I'm not really sure how to find them. Like you have to continue Project Harvester and wait for them to show up. And Vader just like turns around and walks away. He's like, fine. And so he's like going to go relax. He gets his armor fixed.
Yeah.
There's this really great illustration of him out of his armor, like how he sees himself, which is very like featureless and black, except for the parts of him that are fake, which appear as white, like his mechanical limbs. And it's just how he kind of sees himself out of his armor.
Yeah.
And so the Inquisitors are having a drink, like in their clubhouse.
Sure.
Whatever the fuck they do. Vader shows up and fucking turns his lightsaber on.
Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Who's dying today?
The Grand Inquisitor is like, whoa, is this like another test? Like, is this, or are you just here to kill someone for fun? Because either of those would surprise me probably about the same amount.
Yeah.
And Vader swings at this female Inquisitor, the one that let the ship go.
Mm-hmm.
And this other guy, a Twi'lek, activates his lightsaber and saves her with a block.
Yeah.
And Vader's like, aha! I knew you guys were fucking. I knew it. This is not allowed, and now I'm going to kill you. And so they both are like, oh, okay, well, we're going to leave now.
Okay,
and they
bye.
run. And Grand Inquisitor's like, and kids, this is why we don't bone each other.
Mm-hmm.
It makes Vader very upset.
Also, you're all brothers and sisters, which makes that extra weird.
Yeah.
Don't.
Not literally, but it still has a
Yeah.
weird connotation.
Yeah.
So the two Inquisitors decide they have to kill Vader to be free and be with each other so
Yeah.
they can keep boning. And Vader is this is the thing I'd say.
Vader's like, if I don't get to have sex, none of you
Right.
fuckers get to either.
This next comic panel is just fucking Vader standing on the back of a speeder with his arms crossed while it's like flying through traffic. He's not sitting in the seat. He's standing on the back of it, arms crossed, fucking cape in the wind.
Fluttering in the wind.
Doesn't like he could die at any second. He does not care.
No,
he's
he
like,
couldn't. He's Darth Vader.
yeah, it's true. And he's just like, this is how I don't
This
sit
is
down.
how I do.
I don't do seats. So Vader's like, keep driving, they'll attack us. It's only a matter of time. And
I'm
like,
being highly visible on purpose.
right, yeah. And the Inquisitors are able to like, right, like as if on cue, they destroy the speeder, and Vader like tumbles out of the. He's like, oh shit. And so Vader starts chasing them through traffic, jumping speeder to speeder. Mm-hmm. Now these aren't cars; they're not on the ground. They're thousands of miles in the air from anywhere you would like, from the ground or whatever. The Inquisitors are able to injure Vader, and they knock him down, and they all kind of land on this like this area, and Vader like tumbles, and one of the Inquisitors is like, oh my god, we beat him, and Vader grabs both of them with the Force.
The fuck you did, bitches.
Yeah, and the two star-crossed lovers look at each other and like, well, it was fun fucking, I guess.
Yeah.
And Vader uses the Force to make them stab each other with their lightsabers, and it's real fucking like
poetic.
Yeah. Vader's got a dramatic flair, we'll say. So we're on the Imperial Palace.
Okay.
And Palpatine's like, so interesting thing happened today. I turned on the news, and you want to know what I saw?
Mm-hmm.
And Vader, like, shifty eyes, like, what?
What did you see?
It's like, you! Jumping from speeder to speeder, destroying everything in your path. You killed a fucking senator. Like, it was a senator I needed for my evil plot. You killed him. He was sitting there eating lunch in the park, and you dropped a fucking speeder right on top of him.
Okay, counterpoint. Can't you just, like, dissolve the Senate and not have to deal with that bullshit anymore?
Right. Well, he's got his ways, you know.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do this?
Well, you see, these two Inquisitors were fucking, and I was really jealous because I can't fuck anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to kill him.
He didn't go into as much detail. He's like, we just had a staffing problem. And Palpatine's like, okay, I'm moving your fucking boy bands off worlds. Like, I can't have you guys out there destroying shit, and I don't want people to think I can't control, my shit. And Vader, like, very reluctantly was like, well, I did kill Eth Koth. Mm-hmm. And Palpatine's like, oh, nice.
Nice.
Where the fuck was he? And Vader's like, he was pretending to be a priest. And Palpatine's like, what? A priest? Like, that's as far away from the Jedi as he could get, is pretending to be a priest?
I guess.
And so Palpatine's like, oh, Vader, I can't stay mad at you. So
Vader.
Yeah. I've got you a gift.
Yeah.
And Palpatine takes him to a docking bay where it's Padme's ship from Episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Palpatine's like, also something else, I'm going to give you your own world. Mm-hmm. Like, do you want Naboo? That's how much I love you.
Yeah.
I would give you my own homeworld to destroy and do whatever you want with it. Or you could go to fucking Tatooine and get over your fear of sand or whatever the fuck. Or you can go and kill not just the men, but the women and the children. All of them. All the fucking children. And
how about Kashyyyk? You want Kashyyyk? Maybe cut down a few trees?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll make you feel better?
Vader's like, I want Mustafar.
Oh, yes. Excellent choice, Lord Vader.
So Vader jumps in the ship and heads to Mustafar with the architect that remodeled the Jedi Temple for Palpatine.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, Palpatine's talking. He's like, yeah, I'm sending you my fucking architect. He's got a really good eye for, like, brutal aesthetics and shit. Mm-hmm. So she's going to design a building for Vader once they get there. And Vader is seeing weird visions while he's on the ship of him as a boy from Episode 1. Mm-hmm. But it's like Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker, except for the face, and it's Vader.
Oh,
it's really fucking
weird.
Yeah. And so he's, like, tripping balls and shit. Mm-hmm. And so the architect is, like, trying to chat him up a little bit when they're on their way. And he's like, so
do you like minarets?
Right. What do you even like? Like
pyramids?
Yeah.
I can do pyramids.
Yeah. You like to murder people.
Would you like some columns?
Yeah.
I can do all sorts of columns.
Everything black, probably.
Yeah.
You do the black thing very well.
Black, maybe with some, like, red accent lights.
Yeah. And he I should also say he's not actually having this conversation with Vader. He's having it with her assistant.
Asymmetry. I can tell you, like, asymmetry because her helmet is very slightly tilted.
So her assistant's, like, trying to, like, help her brainstorm and shit. And while they're brainstorming, she, like, looks over and she sees this, like, mysterious helmet, and she's like, "Ooh, look at this cool mysterious helmet. I wonder who made it." It's, like, sitting on this table.
Yeah.
It's like an artifact or something. It's, like, really weird.
It's fascinating.
And so the pilot calls her while she's, like, looking at it. She's like, we've entered Mustafar's atmosphere, and we have no shields. And Vader kicked me out of the driver's seat. Now he's driving. And so the architect goes to the cockpit, and Vader is just fucking driving. Doesn't give a fuck about it. He's driving.
Hey, Lord Vader.
He's having a great time.
What are you doing up here?
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, the shields are broken, and you're going to enter the atmosphere, like, bareback? You can't do that. And he's like, the shields work. I just turned them off. And she's like, what? And she's like, okay, you need to turn this around so we can turn the shields on and try again. And, like, she puts her hand on her blaster. Mm-hmm. And Vader just uses the Force, fucking pulls it right out of her hands. Yep. And he's like, your orders were to do whatever the fuck I want. And I want you to sit down and shut your mouth. And she's like, okay.
You're the boss now that I don't have my gun. Yeah.
So down on Mustafar on the surface, a tribe of natives sees a ship streaking across the sky, like, burning up in re-entry.
Fire.
Yeah. And the leader's like, ooh, it's a bad omen. Oh, no. And then...
How right he is.
Yeah. So Vader practically crash lands on Mustafar. Mm-hmm. And now the ship is all busted up and shit. It's not shiny and shit. Like from
it's
episode
on fire.
1. Yeah. And it's starting to... it's drawn now very much in the same style that his, like, weird black idea of himself is. Mm-hmm. And so he fucked the ship up, and he's like, oh, look, now it's kind of more like me.
Yeah.
So the architect stumbles out of the ship with her assistant, And she's like, what?
I'm never letting him drive again.
We could have died. And she looks at the ship now, and now that's all busted up. And she like looks at it and then looks at Vader and then looks at it. She's like, oh, I get it. Okay. So maybe this is the aesthetic you're trying to look for. Fucking burn up. So Vader flashes back to a conversation with Palpatine that he had before he left for Mustafar.
Mm-hmm.
And Vader's like, when I went to go bleed my Kyber crystal, I discovered this spot with like sweet force powers on Mustafar. And I'm going to go do cool force shit with it. And Palpatine's like trying to resurrect your dead wife. And Vader's like, yep, definitely going to go try to resurrect my dead wife. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, couldn't hurt to try. So here, before you go, I want you to have this mysterious helmet.
Okay.
And Vader's like, the fuck is it?
I already have a helmet.
Yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. Just don't let anyone put it on.
Why are you giving me, like, I can't wear it. You're telling me not to let anyone else wear it. The fuck good is it?
Yeah. So he's like, just want to make sure you understand this.
Don't worry about it.
Don't let anyone put it on. So the architect is making plans for the building, and she's like drawing up. She's doing like the fucking Chip and Joe thing from HGTV and shit. She comes up with a design and brings it back to Vader, who's meditating in this like special spot he was talking about, and he doesn't like it. He's like, I don't fucking like it. Get out of here. So she leaves to go do another one.
Jeez, everybody's a critic.
Yeah, and so a few minutes later, Vader hears a scream, and so he goes to investigate. Gets on the ship. The architect is dead.
Oh.
Has been shot right in the chest.
That's a problem.
Her assistant is sitting at the desk doing his own design wearing the helmet.
Oh.
And it's the helmet of Darth Momin, and it has possessed him. And Vader's like, shit.
I really should have told you not to put that helmet on.
And Momin's like fucking turns on his chair. He's like, all right, let's get this bitch built, shall we? And that's it. We're going to do this in two parts. Our second part will be next week because we just went way over time anyway. But so yeah, thanks for joining us. Let me look at our chat real quick. God, hello there, Jedi Enclave. Hey, what's up,
hello
David?
There.
What's up, Rakesh Vinay? Oh, that's the guy from the guy that watches Vader bathe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I thought every Jar Jar moment is scary. It is.
Yeah.
Chris, the Omega imposter. Oh my God, did I tell you about this kid that we it's like a 12-year-old kid from New Zealand.
Oh, cool.
Who plays Starfighters with us every once in a while. Because he's 12, his voice is a little bit higher, and we make him say Omega lines. And he's a really good sport about it. Yeah. And we always think of you because of your Omega impression.
Omega.
He's like the Jedi who Grievous captured in Clone Wars Season 2. Oh, Eth Koth, I think is what he's talking about. Yeah. Yes. Who needs dates and a wife when you can talk Star Wars? That's true. Caddy Mundi fan clip says, remember that badass 2D Clone Wars moment when Mace... Oh, yeah, you read that one. Okay. And then Order 66. Yeah. All right, cool. So, look, we're going to reset here real quick. You are expecting Battlefront 2 from 2018. You
will get Battlefront 2.
You will get a version of Battlefront 2 here in just a couple of minutes. But it'll be from 2005, and it's just me and Chris, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So stick around. We'll probably be a few minutes late because we went over our time on this. So make sure, hey, what's up, Tyrone? Thank you, Joseph, for the compliment there. We'll see you guys here in a few minutes. Thank you.